Kubler is a barrier to solving this problem. His intention was to close Ashraf at any cost, with no regards for the consequences. An impartial court should investigate and question him for his deception in sending these 3,000 refugees to liberty, where they are extremely vulnerable to missile attack. As long as Martin Kubler is the United Nations envoy in Iraq, the danger for the residents at Camp Liberty is much higher than it would be if this function were attributed to an honest, professional and objective UN official, qualities that Martin Kubler is far from enjoying. Martin Kubler is a shame for the United Nations, a shame for Germany, and a shame for Europe. I hope my words will soon arrive to him, because I feel fully responsible of what I am saying. Since security cannot be guaranteed under current conditions in Iraq, any solution must guarantee relocation from liberty. Either all the residents should be immediately moved to the United States or to European countries, or they should be transferred to Ashraf, where the asylum and relocation process could continue. The European Union should not stay on the sidelines, but take some responsibility. On March 7th, Struan Stevenson, Jim Higgins, 5 other vice presidents and myself wrote to President Van Rompuy and President Barroso. We are unhappy with the institution's role on an issue which Struan Stevenson has described as the largest humanitarian case of the current century. I remind these leaders, particularly Lady Ashton, who continues to praise Kubler, of the responsibility they carry for any bloodshed at liberty. We must initiate a serious campaign to admit the residents to the European Union, or else demand that the Iraqi government return all residents to Ashraf, or European Union-Iraq diplomatic relations would be reduced.
Either moving them back to the relative safety of Camp Ashraf, or immediately restoring and rebuilding the 17,500 concrete T-walls that were removed by the Iraqi government before the 3,100 people took residence in Camp Liberty. You have to ask, why were these T-walls removed? They were built by the Americans to provide security from rocket and mortar attacks when the American military were occupying Camp Liberty. Why were they removed? You have to ask yourself, why were the body armor and hard hats which belonged to the people of Camp Liberty forced to be left behind in Camp Ashraf? Why have they not been given the right to build a concrete bunker in which they can take shelter in the event of another rocket attack? Why have they been refused permission even to be supplied with shovels to dig trenches in which they can hide in the event of another attack? And the only conclusion I can come to, more than a month and a half since the vicious attack on 9th February, is that they are being lined up to be annihilated by the Iraqi government and their puppet masters in Tehran.
And so, from Democrats, Republicans, left and right, as I am sensing in this Parliament, we stand firmly behind the MEK as the one organization that can end this nightmare for the Iranian people. You know, the road to a free Tehran today leads through liberty. But now the people of Camp Liberty, not in anger, but in a practical accommodation to the fact that we didn't keep our word, have made a simple request. They want to live. And to live, they want to return to the relative safety of Ashraf. Not an unreasonable request. Or they want simply the means to be defended in liberty. I'll tell you what they want. And anyone here tell me where it's unreasonable. They own bulletproof vests and helmets. They want no money. They want no gifts. They own them. They're at Ashraf. They'd like them brought to liberty. Unreasonable? Instead, we are told by my government and perhaps yours that security lies not in these means, but in leaving the country. I would accept that if we were talking about 3,200 people. But we've moved 7 in the last year. The casualty count of deaths is greater than those who have moved.
I've been to very many meetings in this Parliament, and time after time we have described, first of all, Ashraf, and secondly, liberty, what is happening, the awful conditions, the unacceptable conditions. Yet things just continue to deteriorate. They just get worse and worse. And we stand by on the sidelines. And you know, we speak about Baroness Ashton, but she absolutely must act on this. She can no longer, in our name, stand on the sidelines and let this happen. I mean, in this Parliament, we never stop talking about human rights. We never stop it. So all I can finish up is I agree with Vice President Vidal Quadras. We can't stand on the sidelines any longer.